Hi guys, Leah FX Model Miniatures, back after a short absence. Haven't done a video for a bit. I just haven't really been in the headspace for it, so just took a bit of a breather, and I've had various things going on, so yeah, not been doing much in that respect, but I have been plodding on slowly with this Ralph Mcquarrie concept of the Probot probe droid. just tinkering around, just doing a bit of the day between other things I'm up to. And I've got a fair way into the build now. Yeah, quite happy with it. I think the last time you guys saw this, I don't think I'd actually joined the body together. But what I'll do, I'll go freehand in a bit and just take you around some of the details I've put in. As I said, the head was pretty much done. I haven't done any more to the head. There probably are a few final additions and tweaks I'll make. But then I did get the body joined up, both the vac form sections of the body. Which is quite a challenge actually. When I vac form these, obviously I pull them on the former and everything's dead flat, but once I trim them, I think it's just a case of with vac forming, physics takes over, the way the plastic heats up, the way it cools down, and so you get a little bit of buckling, so you don't get even trimming it dead onto the line, nothing quite marries up perfectly. So that was a challenge to join and sanding neatly. I think there's a couple of spots I still just need to address with a little bit of putty, or some CA and baking soda, which is normally my go-to now for filling any gaps. Works beautifully. Yeah, and then it was a case of I added all these like vent details. Those were added into the upper body section. Those are quite tedious to do actually, but they were worth doing. That they give it, yeah, you can see them in the painting, kind of. So I thought I'd add something different, because obviously the filming miniature has these big vents all along the lower side of the body, whereas in the painting it's not so apparent. In the painting I'm replicating, should I say, but it does have these vents in the upper saucer. So I added those and some plating. I did start adding some details to the outer body, but I haven't done much there. That's literally my next task. I'm going to start adding some plating and some rivet details to the outer edges of the body, because that's it's pretty well. It's especially barren around the backside. There's still quite a lot of work I need to do there. So I'll get to that. That's my next task. What I've been working on. I just started with just looking at stuff to try and get proportions right. So obviously adding this claw, the weird little radar dishy type thing that hangs out the side on this particular concept. All these protrusions. I think in two of the paintings of the probe droid he did, they're like cylinders and all sorts of weird shapes. On this one, they're more like jagged shapes that have been drawn in. So I tried to emulate that chaotic but very Star Warsy look. And then it was a case of getting to the arms, or the manipulator arms. These two at the front here are pretty much finished. The one at the back just needs the joint, the lowermost joint, and the claw adding. The arms were a challenge. Initially I did want to articulate them. Now that was easy if I was using the same ABS channel, the ABS rectangular tube that's used on the filming miniature. I've done that a couple of times, made articulated probe droid arms. It's pretty straightforward, but that channel, that rectangular tube, just didn't suit this model at all. Ralph Mcquarrie had a certain style where he added detail, and using the channel, even with laying kit parts over it, excuse me, it didn't work. It looked too much like the miniature, and I didn't want that. I really needed this to look as if it was a concept maquette built by the ILM shop in the day. That's what I strive for when I build a concept model. I want to feel like it's something that could have been built in that time period. So all these are period donor kits that are used on it, and I went with donor kits to actually make the arms. All the arms are actually made from various donor kits. I mean, this one, the upper joint is Tamiya 125th Centurion. Then we've got Morse Carl, some Tamiya M16, Tamiya 88mm at the bottom here. I'll give you a closer look at the arms in a while. One of the body sidings with the shock absorbers from the SD KFZ 222 armoured car. Some plastric lamps, those had to make an appearance because obviously they're on the miniature. And then these, I even used, it's another Empire Strikes Back kit. It's the AMT 148 Peterbilt, the wrecker truck. I thought that might be nice to make an appearance on here. So, I've used a lot of donors, but not an insane amount. I mean, like this manipulator claw on the side here, that's a Rebel F4 Phantom front landing gear, which is also part of the assembly on the Y-wing nose guns. Some Flak 52 to make the claw. We've got some cut up pieces from the Gepard. These were actually, these vents here are actually from the Tamiya M113 armoured personnel carrier, I think it is. And these were actually resin castings that I made an age ago when I was working on the Death Star 2 turrets, the smaller turrets built for Jedi. Now what I did, because I had these resin castings, and because this is such a funky shape to get anything uniform, because these were resin, I was able to heat them up and then manipulate them to fit the body nicely, so that worked out nice. The body has given me some headaches. I'm getting stuff to fit nicely around it, because it does have this very slightly concave shape that I sanded in to the buck, which was tricky, but it's on the miniature. So getting parts to actually fit this weird non-uniform siding was really challenging actually. The plating will be easy because it's going to be more strip plating and then rivet detail. So that's pretty straightforward. Over here, this dish, that was I made some just little domes for these to protrude from the body. On the painting, they just kind of jut out, but I kind of wanted this organic appendage, so to speak, to be protruding. So it's just a plastruc hemisphere, and then I use a Saturn V booster cone, some flak, and that's one of the wheel dish rims from the I'll just angle that around a bit. That's one of the dishes that go over the wheels on I think it's the 125th Kramer Tamiya Porsche, which I didn't think, I think it showed up more in Jedi, that kit, but it is ESB period as well, so I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. And then it was onto the arms, which was yeah, they were a challenge. To just get them even in the right positions initially. They're fitted with M3 bolts, and if I take the camera out of here, I'll show you what I did there. There's a nut holding a countersunk M3 bolt with then an M3 insert in the top joints. They just thread on then, and they're a bit wobbly, because obviously you don't want to tighten them right up because you need to get them in the right position. But you know, a little bit of thread lock on those when I'm finished, just so there's some tension there, so they're just not wobbling around, but they're very secure. But yeah, you can see some of the detail I put into the legs. It was too hard to make these articulate using the kit parts. It just wasn't worth the time to do it, to be honest. So yeah, I just made them so you know they can be positioned around like so. And as you can see, we've got some AMT Wrecker, some Morse Carl. The claws are just made from styrene. Now we've got some pieces from the 88mm Tamiya M16, obviously plaster. Sorry, no, those lower joints were a Tamiya M16 as well. Actually, sorry. Some flak. A lot of fun to create, actually. A lot of fun to create them. And then coming round to the rear leg. This one was, I think I showed you this one before, but this was Tyrrell P34, and I just cut the rim in half and then flipped it over to create just a more interesting shape. Then we've got, this is actually Tamiya 8-rad, it's the chassis siding. I probably cut this part 10 years ago, and I'm a saver. I'm terrible for saving stuff, and I just threw it, you know, I throw all my offcuts and all that into a box. And I found these and I thought, well, they're interesting. You know, the offcuts from what you actually cut away when you're making a Y-wing neck. So I used those to actually make the upper joint there. Obviously some Plastruct channeling, T-rod I think it was. Tamiya M16, Peterbilt Wrecker again. So yeah, just very simple shapes, nothing too, you know, cluttered or insane. But everything showing, you know, a fairly decent level of detail that's in the painting. And then moving up, yeah, this is what I did to the upper side of the body. I just added these vents, I cut those out, added some ribbed, like a slatted pattern styrene, made some plating to go around the edge, added some rivets, and then, you know, just a small scattering of kit parts. I even used some Brabham there, some little Brabham BT46, some Tamiya Vosper on the head, just an offcut of a flak gun. You know, just breaking things up and just creating some surface noise. Again, that's the claw there where I've grafted in the hemisphere. So yeah, you know, there's still a lot of clean up to do. You know, I've got to tidy some areas up. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it overall. It's been a fun project. I've got a lot of excuse me while I just put this back in here. I've got a lot of tidying up to be done. Just, you know, various areas that need a bit of a clean up that I haven't got to yet. But it was more about just getting the overall form of the model now. And now it's into the final stages of just refining everything, adding the rest of the plating. There are some more protrusions, etc. from the underbody. There's not a lot of primer under there. I've still got some work to do under there, so I've not really done anything too crazy at that point as yet, which I'll get to probably later today, maybe tomorrow. I've got some other things I need to be doing. But yeah, I think it kind of captures the essence of the painting I tried to replicate. It's been a challenge, but it's been a lot of fun as well, and I do have a lot of fun with the conceptual stuff. It's nice to have that free reign, whereas you know, it's almost like what ILM would have been back in the day. They're obviously given a conceptual painting, or a drawing or a sketch, and production say, right, we need this built in 2 weeks, or we need this built in 2 days, which I would have been useless at because I work at snail's pace anyway. I'd have been a terrible ILM model maker. I'd have never made any money. But yeah, it is that kind of that ethic. You know, you take a painting, you take a sketch, and then you grow it into this thing from physical parts, and it's really liberating. You know, I'd recommend anyone to give it a go. You know, if you've got a collection of kit parts and some styrene, go at it. I mean, part of me sometimes wants to take on commissions of these kind of builds as literal one-offs, you know, just one of a kind, not a resin casting, just one. But obviously, you know, there are drawbacks to that. Obviously, it's prohibitively expensive to work at that kind of level without resin casting, etc. Because obviously donor kits cost a lot of money. You know, labour's not cheap. It's a lot of work. I mean, this has been a lot of work to this point, but I'm on the downslope now. You know, I'm really happy with where it's wound up, and it's something original. It's never been done. I've looked at the painting for God knows how many years, and thought I'll do that one day. And yeah, now I have. I've give it my best shot, and I'm happy with how it's turned out. Once I get this finished up, I'm hoping to actually finish the build in its entirety into next week. And then come Monday, Tuesday, hopefully, start out on the next project, which is actually a studio scale project, a very accurate studio scale replica of a ship we all know and love very well, but just a little bit different. Been doing a lot of parts research on that, along with Guy of ArchiveX. So we've been doing a lot of parts research, a lot of dimensions research, and hopefully Monday, Tuesday, I should begin work on what possibly will be masters for that. But more on that as it rolls along. You know, I will update when there's something more concrete to show. But the parts research went really well for this project. We're at a very, very high percentile with the donor parts, which obviously then gives us the magic numbers on dimensions and proportions, which I know I bang on about a lot, but it is important, guys. If you're going to go around bandying something as accurate, then put that work in and show that it's accurate. You know, it's not any more work to get a build accurate based on the kit part data. It's more boring. Sometimes you might have to rely on you know, babbling idiots like myself that just do nothing but look through kit boxes for all time. But we're not all cranky, you know. We know what we're on about, and we try to explain as best we can. Some people take it badly. Some people want to listen and want to strive to be better. So yeah, I'm not a total jackass, but just a little jackass, I guess. But yeah, guys, this has been fun, really fun. Next up, I will do a video when it's all completed, possibly in primer, and then it will be on to paints. I'm not 100% on paint yet. I don't want to paint it like the miniature, but then I don't want to go and paint it orange. It'll be a grey. I just need to decide on a nice ArchiveX, possibly a Reefer Dark, because this funky little top cap here is actually darker than the grey of the body and the head in the artwork. So that could be maybe SP Dark Lark and a dark Reefer on the body. The black eyes, who knows? Yeah, something along those lines, and then maybe break up some of the panels that I add on the side into a darker grey, just so it just differentiates from the film in miniature as much as possible. But it's also, it resembles, everyone knows what it is. It's a probe droid. Yeah, we shall see. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully get a video up sooner than later, and appreciate the support. See you soon.